Here's another video. As I am bearing down on Amarillo, Texas, I'm probably about 45 minutes maybe, or thereabouts from Amarillo, Texas. Um, Heading in, coming across the northern part of Texas, having a good time. Um, so first, I'm provisioned up. I got my iced tea that I got at the last stop, and even more importantly, I got my chicharrones. Yeah, that's some good eating. All right, so I was I heard from my mother, and my mother's policy is, of course, whatever you're doing it wrong. So I have been asked to clarify a little bit about why, what my motivations are, sort of what the impetus is for this route and at all, and why this is an adventure. So recall that as I mentioned, this is an old truck. It's 1991. It's 30 years old. That's old for a truck. It's old for anything, but it's old for a truck. 280, bearing down on 286,000 miles on the truck, but it was pretty well maintained by the county of Madison, and that said, it's still 30 years old. And since I had it in Alabama, I had to drive it across, hence this adventure. Now, what I have to clarify is why I'm going this way and what the age of the truck has to do with that. I picked this route across the country because it's the flattest, I think. It's winter, so it's end of winter, but it's still winter. I was hoping to avoid weather. That's why I had to I picked a window where there was I'd have the least weather problems, and I think so far so good. But this route too is also the flattest because one of the things about this truck, while it is has been well maintained, it was running good so far. Uh, there are a lot of mountains across the country, and so in order to get from one side of a mountain to the other, you got to do one of two things: you go up and over it, or you go around it. And the Rockies are a big range that is tough to deal with. I've done that drive, basically, kind of up and over the Rockies, and that's a lot of hilly, mountainous terrain, and I found it to be pretty, it's beautiful, it's fun, but it's also a little bit of a challenge on your vehicle. So I wanted to avoid that. That's why I picked this route. So I'm going to take an I-40 just below, which should cross just below the Rockies, so that I can try to avoid going up and over them. Last time I did it, I went up through and ended up crossing, going up by Salt Lake City, which is kind of behind the Rockies, but Salt Lake City is still pretty mountainous. And if you've done that trip, you're dealing with quite a few mountains there. And uh, mountainous, hilly terrain is what this truck seems to like the least. Um, I am driving at about 65, 70 miles an hour. Um, and yeah, it's fine. It's long and straight, but for whatever reason, um, it, it does not like to try to keep any kind of speed going up a mountain, go up a hill, even a big hill. It can struggle to keep up 60 miles an hour. So that being the case, I try to minimize as much as I possibly can the mountainous terrain that I've traveled through. So what that has me doing is um, plotting a course due west until I get going around, effectively going around the Rocky Mountains. I'm going due west to Albuquerque, which is pretty much just at the foothill, the bottom of the southern tip of the Rockies, as far as I can tell. But then you're kind of going around. The problem is there aren't a lot of interstates or big highways that basically jut back northwest from I-40 on the other side of the Rocky Mountains. You either got to go back up through Salt Lake City, in which case you're just dealing with everything I'm trying to avoid, or you have to go all the way to the coast, which it's going to take longer and put more miles on it. So I'm going to jog back northwest as soon as I can through whatever I can. Best I can tell, the easiest route is going to be all the way past Albuquerque, and then on I-40, and probably to about Flagstaff, and then just past there, uh, jutting off northwest towards Las Vegas, and then cutting through the plains of Nevada, heading back up through Oregon. So that's what I'm shooting for, and I'm doing that to try to again minimize mountainous terrain driving, so I can minimize trying to get this bad boy to pull these hills. Uh, while it doesn't seem to, I mean, it's not like I have any fear that it will do it. It does feel like it's taxing it more than I want to tax it on its maiden voyage across the country, 30 years old with 286,000 miles. So there you go. That's it. Back to my tea, my chickaroons. More later. Bye.